Sounds great. Sounds great.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of College Hockey Talk. On today's podcast, I'm joined by a very special guest, Notre Dame sophomore and Calgary Flames draft pick, Jake Boltmann, joins the show today. Jake, welcome to the podcast, and how's everything going?
Everything's going great. Really appreciate you having me on. Excited to talk about hockey and get to know you a little bit better. So thanks again.
Yeah, no problem. Now, how's your off season going so far, and what are some things that you've been working on?
It's been going really well so far. Currently at on campus here at in South Bend. Been here for about 6 weeks. This is our last week here. I just finished up my last final last night, so getting some credits out of the way. Working out, skating with the guys here. It's been a blast to get to know the new transfers coming in, and as well as the new freshmen, the younger guys that are coming in too. Kind of get them acclimated to kind of Notre Dame hockey, and so it's been great. Initially, we didn't think we were going to be able to be here this summer with COVID and budget cuts and stuff like that. We didn't know if we were going to be able to have this little 6-7 week training camp, but it's been good. It's been good skating and working out basically every day. So excited to get back here again for the fall semester and get the season rolling again for sure.
Well, that's awesome. And how was it being on campus during the summer? Like, how do you deal with all the quietness? Because it must be weird without all the kids there.
Yeah, I mean, Notre Dame's a smaller school, just kind of in general, but especially now with no one really being here, we just got we're always with the guys on the hockey team because we have workouts early in the morning, and then you go to class the rest of the day, and then try to get your studies in at night before you do it all over again. So we're pretty busy, so it's not like we're just sitting around all day like having nothing to do, but at the same time, it is a little weird not seeing other students. They're still the football team is here. Both basketball teams are here, and then I think there's some baseball guys here as well. So it's not there's still some other student athletes here, but at the same time, I mean, it is not like I think come fall with COVID kind of hopefully getting out of the door here pretty soon. It's going to be a lot more crazy around campus, which I'm excited for. But yeah, it's obviously a little bit different not having anyone else really on campus with you.
Yeah, definitely, especially with the football games coming up this fall. I'm
Yeah,
assuming that's something you might have missed during your freshman year.
for sure. Yeah, I'm super excited. I think we're going to be able to get to four-ish games this year. I think we have most of the time we only get to like the guys are saying that you're lucky if you get to three. But there's a few weekends where I think we play Thursday, Friday, and then the football game is at home Saturday. So might be able to catch those, but we'll see how it works, see how it goes. But yeah, super excited to be. I've only been to one Notre Dame football game in my life, and that was I think it was like 8 years ago or something. I just came when I was younger, so I'm really excited to kind of get the college experience of actually being a student at Notre Dame and going to the football game for sure. So
Yeah, now how's your training looking like so far, and what's one area of your game that you're trying to improve on the most?
yeah, training's going really well. Hockey related, I just think that my puck skills have to take a jump if I want to develop myself as a hockey player. So puck retrievals, just basic stick handling and shooting, being a little bit more deceptive are things that I got to work on if I want to if I want to have a good year this year and hopefully have a solid start to the year this year and then keep going, climbing up the ladder, hopefully. So, but yeah, that's just something that I've always just kind of needed to work on, and I'm putting kind of an emphasis on that this year or this summer to get better at that. And then obviously just in general, you got to get better with everything, be more explosive, stronger, harder shot, that kind of stuff too. So being more like doing obviously all around type skill development, but placing the emphasis just kind of on puck skills and puck movement, that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, definitely. And that's always something good to work on, just because people don't realize just the little details of the game and how important they are to just have the overall team's
Yeah,
performance. So that's great to hear how like you're just trying to work on the little things and all the other guys on your team are trying to work on the little things. And
for
if you
sure.
guys improve on those little things, the team's just going to be great coming into next season.
Exactly. If you have just kind of that basic skill set that you're going off of and having those fundamentals, it just helps everyone in the long run. Because there's going to be days where you feel like you can't even feel your arms, like you're like, what's going on? I can't even handle the puck today. But if you can just kind of go back, just slow it down a little bit, go back to the fundamentals, it'll help you get through that practice or that stretch of games where you just don't know what's going on. So yeah, just super excited to get the season rolling again.
Now, let's start off talking about the beginning of your hockey career and work all the way up to where you are now with Notre Dame. So you're from Edina, Minnesota. Just talk about growing up there and how'd you start playing hockey?
Yeah, so initially I went to elementary school, so in Shakopee, Minnesota until 5th grade. My mom's both my parents are teachers, so my mom was an elementary teacher, so I stayed in Shakopee until 5th grade. And then I played hockey there, mites until like basically since I started skating until the end of mites. And then when 6th grade started, I was playing hockey in Edina and going to school in Edina. Uh, so squirts through high school, played through Edina. I played 4 years varsity high school in Edina, which was awesome. I'm never. I don't. I know. My senior year, I did a little bit before and after playing with Lincoln, but I kind of wanted to just finish off my career playing high school hockey, playing 4 years and stuff. Just so I didn't really. I thought that I would have more regrets if I left my senior year instead if I stayed and finished it, graduated with all my buddies, which is a blast. So I want to change that for the world. And then started off the year this past year in Lincoln again. I was initially committed to University of Minnesota for a while. Decided to decommit. I want to say in start of November, I believe. Start of November, I believe I decommitted for Minnesota there. I was been committed there for a while. I committed to Lucia and Gensel, which were old coaching staff, and then the new Matsko and the new guys came on. So decided to kind of see what other options were out there. Notre Dame was obviously a school that I was really interested in, and they offered me to come in midway. So came into Notre Dame. I believe it was a day or two after Christmas this past year. So I've only been here for a semester and the summer. So I still have 4 more years of eligibility left as a college athlete, which is pretty exciting. So, but right now that's not really what I'm focused on. I'm just kind of focused on finishing up here in the summer and then training again back home for another month before we got to come back for the fall semester and get real training camp going again, and then have a good start to the season. So yeah, it's been a long road. Been loved playing. I still have lifelong buddies that I played with in high school that I'll have for the rest of my life. But I'm super excited to be here at Notre Dame. It's a special place. Everyone here loves it. School can be tough at times, obviously. A lot of days, a lot of late nights. You're staying up and studying for finals or whatnot. But at the end of the day, it's worth it. Campus is beautiful. The students are really supportive of all the athletic programs. Alumni here are phenomenal. So it's a really special place. But I'm really excited for the season coming up, and I'm really thankful to be able to have this kind of opportunity to play for Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's incredible, and it's cool to see how far you've come just to play college hockey. And growing up, did you have like a favorite player that you liked to watch growing up?
Yeah, Anders Lee obviously was my guy that I like. He was my role model since I've been little. Um, he was from Edina, played football, baseball, and hockey at Edina. Um, I was a ball boy when I was younger for the football team. I was like too young to be a ball boy, but my dad used to coach. My dad was a football coach in Edina, so my dad coached him. But yeah, I've just been following him since I can even remember. I mean, he went to Notre Dame, had a phenomenal career here, and obviously doing pretty well in the National Hockey League as well. So that obviously he's not a guy that I try to model my game after. He's a forward, scores a lot of goals, and I'm a defenseman. So, but a guy that like I just always have looked up to as kind of a role model would be Anders for sure.
Now, did you play football at Edina? Because that'd
Yep,
be kind of
yep,
funny if you both played the same sports at
yeah,
Edina and
yeah.
then both went to
I
Notre
played
Dame too.
Yeah, yeah. I played football and baseball as well at Edina. So um, I've always like my family. I come from more of a football family. My brother plays football at University of North Dakota. Dad played college football and was a longtime football coach at Edina too. So kind of came from a football family, but fell in love with hockey. Obviously, I love football. I still wish it was possible for me to play it somehow. Obviously, not good enough to play at the Notre Dame level of football. They're pretty big time over there. I feel like every time I see them on campus or whatever, I feel pretty miniature walking next to those big dudes. But yeah, I played. I loved playing a lot of sports when I was younger. Miss being able to like it was crazy. Like growing up, my summers were either all baseball and then fall all football and then winter all hockey. So it's kind of cool to just kind of mix it up. Now it's basically just hockey 24/7, which I love. Obviously, I'm never going to complain about. I love the game of hockey, but at the same time, I mean, looking back on it, like I don't know if you can beat being able to play with all your buddies and a bunch of different sports and that kind of stuff when you're younger too. So obviously miss that, but it is what it is.
Yeah, no, that's still cool though. In my opinion, that's good to play multiple sports growing up, just because it kind of gives you a break from hockey in your case, but from baseball and other players' case as well. So
Yeah,
it helps just clear your mind from things and learn different skill sets as well.
for sure, for sure.
Now, I know you said your brother played for North Dakota. Is that the school that Trey Lance went to? Because I think that's pretty cool.
No, he went to North Dakota State. So
Uh,
my brother plays for North Dakota, so in Grand Forks. So well, they used to be the Sioux, but now they're the Fighting Hawks. So that's like the rival team. So North Dakota State and then North
uh,
Dakota are kind of rivals there. But yeah,
Yeah, and I don't really know too much about college football, so I was just curious. I just saw that I remember seeing in the draft that he went to North
yeah,
Dakota, so I thought that would have been interesting.
yeah.
Now, talk about the Minnesota high school hockey scene and just being a player in that atmosphere, because I've seen like the clips of the state tournament at the XL Center. It's pretty crazy, just the atmosphere that's at those games. And was it like being a
Yeah,
player?
it's I've never played, so I was lucky enough to lucky enough to play in two of those tournaments. Won it in 2019. I mean, like it's really like a dream come true. Like I remember going to those tournaments since I can even remember, just like going watching Edina, watching other teams, like going to the expo, trying to buy, like begging my mom and dad for new sticks, whatever, like doing like all the little games and then going to watching the game again, then going to actually watch the game too. I mean, it's awesome. Like the fact that you can pack an NHL arena for a high school hockey game, um, and they televise it, and you get to play in front of all your friends and family. The student sections are always crazy, yelling out chants, and then to actually win it, win a state title in the fashion that we did against Eden Prairie, who I'd say is just kind of our rival. Eden Prairie has always just kind of been the two teams that I mean, I hate Eden Prairie still to this day. I got a lot. There's a few guys on my team now. They're from Eden Prairie that obviously I love now, but I used to hate playing against them. So we won in overtime in 2019, and it was just crazy. I mean, you can't really describe that feeling, being able to host a trophy with like guys that you. It's one thing. I mean, like obviously I want to win a national championship now, but at that time, like you grow up with those guys playing squirts, peewees, bantams, all the way through high school, and find a way to pull it off and win one of those things. Like you can't really describe the. Yeah, it was just that's just hockey. You love hockey, and being able to share that moment with those guys is kind of. I mean, it's kind of like I'm still a little speechless about it. You can't really describe it unless you're kind of on that team and in the locker room with those guys. So it's, but yeah, I mean, a lot of people have asked me that question, like, dude, how sick is the high school hockey tournament back in Minnesota? It's just like, I mean, you just kind of, I wish everyone had a chance to kind of go and just watch it and experience it for themselves, because it's pretty special for sure.
Yeah, no, I'm an East Coast kid, so you don't really get that type of high school hockey
Yeah.
scene. So it's just kind of crazy how different the East Coast hockey scene is versus the Midwest. So I always find it fun just to ask what that experience is like for
Yeah.
players like yourself who are from Minnesota.
Yeah. It's like, I think Minnesota, Wisconsin still has a little bit of high school hockey. But Minnesota, I think, like, is like the only real state that actually, a lot of guys, instead of leaving to go play junior or going to play AAA somewhere, you stay in your hometown and play for your hometown, which is, I think, it's pretty cool. So
Now I have to ask you, there's a lot of other stuff that comes with the state tournament. There's the student section chance, like you just said, but there's also the hockey hair team. Did you ever get to make the hair team? And if you didn't make it, any of your teammates did?
yeah, I don't think I ever made like the final hockey hair team. I think I might have been an honorable mention. I'm not a huge hair guy, but I think I got on because I did a little mustache or something and dyed it. But like, now I think I can grow a little bit better one, but a few years ago I just had like a little scraps over the lip, and I think I dyed it with like just red or something just to make it a little funny. But there's a few guys. Our head coach was not Kurt Giles, is more of an old school guy, so he didn't like anyone doing anything crazy like dyeing their hair or growing a huge mullet. But there's Peter Colby, who actually scored the OT winner, had kind of like a little afro.
Mhm.
And before the game, he was kind of like fluffing it up a little bit to make it look a little bit more crazy than it normally is. Um, Other than that, I think that might be the only Edina guy that I played with that made the hockey hair team. Most of the time, our coach kind of wants us to be more professional with it, but at the same time, like, that's part of the tournament a little bit too. So guys tried to have a little fun with it, but
And like you just mentioned, you also played in the USHL for the Lincoln Stars before heading off to Notre Dame. Just talk about how you got the opportunity to go to the USHL, which in my opinion is one of the best junior leagues in the U.S. And just talk about your experience in Lincoln overall.
oh, for sure, yeah, it's USHL's one comparison to the NCAA. I think sets the guys up for success a lot. So I initially was drafted by Central Illinois, the Flying Aces. I was an affiliate for them for, I want to say, yeah, 2 years. Played a few games with them, never a full season, and then they ended up folding. So in the dispersal draft, Lincoln picked me up. Was able to play before and after my high school season there. So I think I played, I want to say, like 20 games that year, and then again, I was planning on playing a full year this past year in Lincoln, but with all this COVID stuff going on, we only got to get in 6 games before I ended up leaving to come to Notre Dame. We were supposed to start in, I think it was like end of September, and then I got pushed back to like middle of November. So didn't we had a long training camp, long preseason, but I loved it in Lincoln. My billets were phenomenal. They've been, I think, billeting for, I think this is going to be their 25th year, so they've been doing it for a while. Loved everything about it. Like, it's like a college town too there with the University of Nebraska. Went to 2 football games, which is pretty crazy. The Sea of Red, it's pretty nuts there. So I love Lincoln. They got a nice old barn with a crazy light show that they do it for the intro. So that gets your goosebumps going, and the fans there are pretty rowdy as well. So loved my time in Lincoln. Great coaching, great relationships that I made there with all those guys. Still stay in touch with the majority of the guys that I played with there. And a lot of those guys are obviously moving to college hockey here this year. So that's exciting to watch, and I'm excited to see and excited to play against them too if I get the chance again sometime. So
And when you made the decision to decommit from Minnesota, just talk about the recruiting process to Notre Dame and what made you want to go to that school after you made the decision to leave Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, I was committed initially to Minnesota for a long time. Committed there when I was in like ninth grade, which is now looking back on it was crazy early. Like I don't even remember like what I looked like when I was in ninth grade. So it's kind of crazy being committed to a college for that long. And then when I did decommit, it was kind of a whirlwind. Like everything kind of came at me, different directions. Being able to talk to different schools and stuff. And initially, Notre Dame was always on my mind because initially that they were probably like my second choice when I committed to Minnesota a while back. And so when they called me, obviously I had them really high on my list and a place that I wanted to go. But at the same time, I didn't want to make any like really rash decisions. But talking to the coaches there, them giving me like this opportunity to come in early and not burn a year of eligibility was just kind of a no-brainer. And so I got to be able to come in after Christmas, get a semester of credits under my belt, a few games, and then being here this summer. So I feel like I'm got a little jump start into next year. Instead of just coming in the summer, I was able to be here during the season. I know COVID was a weird season. No one really had any normalcy at all, but yeah, it was kind of a no brainer when I got this offer to come to Notre Dame, and I don't regret it at all either. I love it here. So.
And you're mentioning the coaching staff. You're obviously coached under by Jeff Jackson. What's it like being coached by him? And is he as scary as he looks on the bench? Because I feel like that guy doesn't smile at all.
No, he's not scary. No, I guess now like people who aren't on the bench with him, and he does have a serious look to him. But he's been a college coach for a long time, been very successful for a long time, knows his hockey very, 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 very well. He's a great coach, great coach to learn from through film, just his analysis of the game. And but yeah, he's awesome to play for. I know this past year we did make it to the regional, and then as soon as we actually got to Albany, we tested positive, so our team was basically, our season was just canceled right on the spot. And I thought he's been doing this for a while, so right now what I want to do, I want to get him a national championship because he hasn't had one here at Notre Dame. So that's our goal. We obviously are playing for Notre Dame, but also playing for a coach as well. So I think that's a good combination to have when you want to play for the guys around you, but at the same time, you also want to play for your coach. So he's a great coach, not as scary as you think he is. But yeah, for sure.
And obviously, this past year with college hockey, it was a very different season. You guys played in front of no fans. I know you never played in front of any fans in Notre Dame, but just how weird was that not playing in front of that crowd this past season?
Yeah, it's obviously it kind of. I mean, we were able to have like parents, but that kind of it was kind of like a throwback to like squirts, when the only people that would ever come to your games were parents. Um, but yeah, it was weird. I mean, it was just kind of quiet. They tried their best to play music like during TV timeouts and stuff, but I mean, when you don't have fans and you can't like, especially at our home building, like when there's normally a band playing all the time and a bunch of fans cheering, like you can kind of like feed off that if you're the home team, or use that to fuel you if you're the away team to shut them up too. So I'm really excited to be able to play. They haven't made it official what capacity that we're going to be able to have, but I'm assuming that we're going to have more than 0 people in our building this upcoming year, which is really exciting. Like you said, I've never played at Notre Dame with fans yet, but just seeing videos and hearing what the other guys have said, the band in the student section, all the other fans, like it's a pretty cool atmosphere. So I'm really excited to experience that. And and keep winning hockey games at our home barn too. So yeah, I'm pumped. I'm pumped.
And you obviously play in the Big Ten Conference. In my opinion, it's one of the top conferences in college hockey, going against a lot of NHL, high-end NHL prospects, but some very good teams as well. What's it like being a player in the Big Ten, go against teams like Michigan, Michigan State, and Minnesota on a daily basis?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you're playing a really good team every weekend, which I I personally love it. Like I love playing against the best. So when we have to play, like you said, Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Penn State, like they got top players and they're a top team. And if you want to be the best and if you want to win, if you want to do something special a year, like you have to beat the best. So it really helps you as a player develop, helps the team come together, knowing that like, hey, like this isn't going to be a cakewalk. Like we got to dial it in for 3 periods. So, but yeah, it's awesome. I mean, playing in the Big Ten, it's special. Like every team that you play, it's going to be a dogfight, and that just makes winning feel so much better as well too. So, but yeah, playing in the Big Ten, like you said, top conference in college hockey. It's special, especially when you get to go play in other buildings too, and they have crazy fans and a really nice atmosphere there too. So it's pretty sweet.
Now, on something that was introduced to college hockey this past year was 3-on-3 overtime. From your perspective as a defenseman, what was that like, having more space on the ice, having more offensive opportunities in those overtime situations?
Yeah, I mean that's the first time I've ever played 3-on-3 overtime hockey, like in an actual like season game, other than like maybe some summer league type stuff. So obviously it was a little different. I mean, it just makes everything like more kind of dramatic. I want to say, like, say you have a turnover, it's like, oh well, they're getting a grade A scoring chance. So you got to be obviously pretty careful with the puck, but at the same time, you do have a lot more time and space, and um, you're not as rushed at all. I guess you still have to play with the same urgency you normally do, but it's not like some guys chipping a puck behind you and breathing down your neck coming to finish a check. Like it's more kind of puck possession and making your chances and your puck possession count, I guess. So yeah, it was a lot different than what I've normally played. Normally, I've just been playing 5-on-5 normal OT, and then either going to a shootout or keep going if it's playoffs. So, but yeah, it was a little bit different, but I'm not complaining about it at all. So
Yeah, it's fun to watch, especially seeing some of your players in the Big Ten, like Alex Steves in 3-on-3 overtime was just so
yeah,
so much fun to watch, just
yeah,
because of his
for
skill
sure.
and his shot as well. Now, this past season, your team had a lot of major upsets heading into the Big Ten tournament. Just how important were those wins, trying to build that resume for the national tournament for this past season?
Yeah, those wins are big. Beating Minnesota, Michigan, like that's like you got to win those games if you want to get a good seed. Just to be in the Big Ten, because like we were talking about earlier, like every team's really good. So it's not like if you're the number one seed, it's like you have a cakewalk at all. Like you're playing really good teams throughout that whole tournament. We ended up losing to Penn State in our first game, which was a bummer. We didn't really play our game, but lucky enough to, I think being in the Big Ten and having those wins under our belt earlier in the year helped us get a bid to the tournament. Couldn't do anything with it, like I said, having our season being canceled, but for sure, being able to play in the Big Ten and winning those big games against high ranked teams um, helps with your seeding for just the Big Ten, but also nationally speaking as well. So
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about that game against Penn State. What do you think happened overall that led to that loss? But also talk about playing in your home stadium during the Big Ten tournament, which was something that not a lot of teams, not any of the teams in the Big Ten, got to do except for you guys.
yeah, I mean, we started off strong, got a 2-goal lead early on, and I think that we just kind of stopped playing our style of hockey, and And if you do that against a good team like Penn State, they're going to capitalize, and that's what they did. Um, we had a little surge at the end there, but it was one of the things like it was too late and just couldn't be able to pull off the comeback again. And it was pretty upsetting because we had high aspirations, like you said, trying to win a Big Ten tournament in our home building. It was a little different, like having no fans. I think if we were able to have fans, it'd be a little bit more crazy there, having the Big Ten tournament at Notre Dame and being able to play, or having Notre Dame play at Notre Dame. But I mean, I don't. I hate kind of thinking about that game because I keep on thinking like, well, what if we did this? What if we did that? Still ended up losing. Can't do anything about it now. So all we got to do now is just kind of move on, put that in our rearview mirror, and hopefully this coming Big Ten tournament we can kind of switch that back around again and hopefully raise that trophy. So that's what we're looking for. That's what I'm looking forward to, and I know the guys on the team are also looking at that too.
Now, what are some of your goals and expectations for next season? Obviously, winning a Big Ten championship, but also trying to win a national championship as well. But besides winning those trophies, anything else that you want your team to accomplish?
I mean, I think we have a really solid team coming in. We obviously lost some seniors and a few guys signed pro deals, but we do have a few transfers coming in, and our freshman class coming in too have been really solid. So just kind of excited to see how we start the year, I guess. I know it's a little bit different with this extra year of COVID. Like we have a few grad transfers coming in that are playing their fifth year of college hockey. So it's going to be pretty crazy, I think, and a little bit different, getting them acclimated. But like I said, I'm really excited to see we're going to have a different team this year. Having some younger guys coming in, but also like older guys that have been playing 4 years of college hockey, and now they're lucky enough to play another year. So it's going to be a little bit different, but I'm really excited to kind of see where our team goes this year. And then, like you said, winning a Big Ten championship and then going on and win a national championship is our goal every single year. So as long as the team can keep plugging away towards those goals, like you got to take it a game at a time, but having those be like our main goals of the years is what we're looking for. So.
Now, speaking of some of your guys that signed, you got to play with Alex Steves, who's one of the top Big Ten players last year. What was he like as a teammate, both on and off the ice, and how excited were you when you saw that he signed with Toronto?
Yeah, he's a great dude. One of my good buddies. He lives in Eden Prairie now, so I see him when I go home. Yeah, I mean he's a special player. Knows how to score goals. Knows how to set people up. And I obviously I wish he stayed for his senior year because you love playing with him and you love having a guy like that on your team. But when you see a guy like that have the opportunities that he did, like you can only be super excited for him. And yeah, like you said, like we were all pumped when the news came out that he was going to sign, and I just wish him he was in Toronto. Like I think he was there like after our year for a month or so, just training and stuff. And on his way back, he stopped by, so we went out to lunch and hung out a little bit too. So, but yeah, I'm really excited to see how he does. Also, Nate Clerman too signed with Colorado. He was our captain of our team, and when I came in mid-year, he was always the guy that was helping me through stuff, whether that was if I had a question that I didn't want to really ask the coach to not annoy him, I could just come to him. And also a really good dude, one of my really good guy, and good friend too. Great captain. So excited to see how he does too in Colorado's organization. So got a bunch of guys you're looking at who signed, and it's pretty cool to kind of watch them play with a guy and then go and see him out playing pro hockey and getting paid to play, which is all of our dreams. So it's pretty cool.
And speaking of the NHL, you were drafted last year, and it's crazy to think about that the draft is this Friday. So, what was your draft day experience like, and what was it like getting drafted by Calgary, and where were you when you got that call?
So it was a crazy day. I mean, I was like growing up, like your dream is to get drafted in the National Hockey League. So I was pretty nervous that whole day, kind of crossing my fingers, hoping that I'll get my name called. And I was in Lincoln at the time. I was actually on the ice when I found out. So we had practice, and I was on the ice when we found out. And where was I? Yeah, so I was actually on the ice at the time when I found out, and um, a bunch of guys just kind of tackled me when we found out the news. So it was pretty cool. And Calgary's a great organization. Really excited to be um, with them. And it was just one of those things like you hope that it's going to happen one day, and then when it actually happens, you don't really know how to react a little bit. So I was just kind of like on cloud nine for a while there. And but yeah, like I said, really excited to be like having them be able to give me an opportunity like that. It's special and something that you've worked for your whole life. So having seen it pay off, seeing all your hard work kind of pay off, and being able to get drafted, it's pretty special. So
And is there going to be a development camp this year with Calgary?
no, I know there isn't one for Calgary. So we've been doing like some meetings and stuff, meeting with like skating coaches and stuff, like with Zoom. But with the border and stuff still kind of iffy, and the season kind of ending, or the season last year ending at a weird time, and we're having COVID, and now the draft happening now. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if no teams can have. I don't know the whole story with development camps, but as of right now, we have nothing scheduled this summer. So
Yeah, I was just curious because I saw that Boston was going to do one with some, and I saw some college hockey players going to participate in there. So I was
yeah,
just curious if any of the Canadian teams were doing it because I didn't see
yeah.
anything.
I don't know for sure about other teams, but as of right now, we haven't had anything scheduled yet. So
Hmm.
normally they would just have them like right after the draft, but obviously with the draft, the draft last year was like all online, and no one was in person. It was just, and still COVID kind of going on, and COVID's still kind of going on now, but getting a little bit better. So I think some teams might maybe be having some, but
Hmm.
like I said, that's not my decision. I just get an email or something. I got to sign up and be at a place at a certain time. So
Hmm.
kind of, yeah,
Hopefully, next season when things are hopefully back to normal, because I know Canadian
yeah,
teams are going to play American teams next year. So that's my hope at least.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
So we're now in a segment I like to call the non-hockey segment, where I ask you some non-hockey questions just to get to know you a little bit off the ice. My first question to you is, obviously the expansion draft is coming up. So if there was any college hockey player that you would want to pick up in a college hockey expansion draft that you would want to play with, who would that be and why?
Oh, anyone that I anyone in college, like currently right
Yeah.
now.
Currently, yeah.
Um, let's see
It
here.
could be an
I
upcoming
mean, I would,
college thing.
if I could, I'd pick all my teammates. Come on, I can't not say that. Here, let me think. Um, if I'm going for someone else, um, on another team, I'd probably say Sammy Walker,
Hmm.
for Minnesota. I played with him in high school, and like that guy's scary good at hockey, super fast, super quick, can score goals. So um, love the kid to death too. He's a huge beauty. So I don't know. That's a hard question for me to answer, because I would want to pick everyone. So hopefully they don't hear. Hopefully all my other buddies that are playing don't hear about this. So but yeah, I mean, I would pick all my teammates first, and then maybe Sammy.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
My biggest pet peeve. Let's see here. I hate when people bite their nails.
Hmm.
Biting that people who like nibble on their nails, and I don't know. That just kind of rubs me the wrong way. My other, yeah, I don't know. I'm not a huge pet peeve guy. I don't know. Some things just kind of gross me out. Like, but other
Yeah.
than that, I don't think I have any like huge pet peeves, I guess.
I think the only thing for myself would be just bad driving. That kind of
Bad
bothers
driving.
me.
That's a good one too. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Now, what music do you like to listen to on a general basis or just before a game?
Um, on a general basis, I'm more of a country guy. Just kind of like relaxing music. Um, I'm not a huge like dubstep,
Hmm.
Skrillex, that kind of stuff. Not a huge one of those guys. Not a huge rap guy. I mean, before the games, if the guys in the locker room are playing rap, like I'll listen to it. But for the most part, I'm more of just kind of a relaxing country dude.
Hmm.
I like Morgan Wallen, Luke Combs, Darius Rucker, those kind of guys. So that's kind of the music that I listen to for the most part.
Who is the funniest teammate you have at Notre Dame?
Funniest teammate. Wow, we got a lot of funny guys on the team. Let me think here. Oof. Funniest guys. There's a lot of beauties on our team, so I don't know. I don't know how I can actually answer this without wanting to change my mind in a second. Um, Brady Bjork's kind of a comedian. Him, yeah, I'd say Brady Bjork is a guy that you kind of look at him and he makes you laugh sometimes. So, other than that, oh, there's a lot of guys. I mean, Adam Karashik, who's a transfer coming in, he's a funny dude. Nick Lieberman, he's a funny. Yeah, there's a lot of funny guys on the team. A lot of
Uh,
funny guys.
Now you have the best style on the team. That's just an undeniable fact. But besides yourself, who has the best style at Notre Dame?
Best style, like clothing wise, or on the ice, or both.
Both. Let's just do both. Yeah.
Well, other than me, like you said earlier. Let's see. Brady Bjork does have some really good style. He's got some nice shoes. He's a big shoe guy. Ryder Rolston's got some good style. Let's see here. Da, 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 da.
I think on
Graham
the
Slager,
ice.
Graham
Yeah.
Slager, and Landon Slager. They got the Slager brothers got some good style for sure. Um, yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's not guys that really have bad style, I guess.
Hmm.
So
I
I don't
always
know.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead. I was done. I was done.
I was just like, I always like the for on ice. I always like the goalie style just because it's a little bit
Yeah,
different than the other players. So I think Dylan St. Cyr with his
he
gold
had
helmet
the
is the
gold.
coolest.
Yeah, yeah. Those are sweet for sure. Yeah, I was on the ice last year. I think Dill had the probably the best style with those gold pads, especially when we're wearing the green jerseys. I think that looks pretty top notch for sure.
Now, final non-hockey question is who's the best trash talker on the team?
Trash talker. Uh I don't know. I don't know if this guy's the best trash talker, but he probably does the most trash talking. Would be Solak Bakic. He
Hmm.
probably does the most trash talking. I don't know if he's the best, and he would get mad at me if he heard me say this, but I don't think he's the best. Um, but yeah, I mean, he does most of the trash talking. So when I'm out there with him, or if I hear him say something, I normally just kind of like laugh and chuckle to myself because, like, I know He's like one of my really good buddies, and he's not at all kind of like that off the ice, but he does kind of like to get in the other team's grill a lot. So I'd say he does the most trash talking. I don't know if it's the best, but
Now, back to some hockey questions. Now, my first one is what advice would you give a younger player who's trying to pursue a Division I college hockey career?
I mean, I personally would say don't put way too much pressure on yourself. You got a long way to go. A lot of guys don't even get to college hockey until like they're 21 ish, 20, 21. So play different sports as well. Like I loved playing football and baseball. Play different sports. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just enjoy it because there's gonna be times like that when you're playing college hockey where you don't want to go to the rink. You're tired. Your legs hurt. Your body hurts. And you got to have that love for the game if you want to keep playing at a high level. So just develop that love for the game. If you don't love it, fine. Like don't force yourself to do something that you don't love. But someone who wants to play Division I hockey, don't put too much pressure on it. Just have fun. Obviously, work your bag off. Shoot as many pucks as you can at a young age. get those fundamentals down, but at the same time, you got to enjoy it. You got to have fun with it. I think that's probably the most important thing. Like when if you're a squirt hockey player and you're making squirt B, like I was always a B player growing up. So it's not like if you're a squirt, if I never made the squirt A team when I was younger, I never made like the top team until I was a Bantam. So don't think that you suck at hockey because you don't make the best team when you're younger. You got a lot of developing to go, and just like I said, just have fun with it. Have a great time with your teammates. On going on bus trips and all that good stuff. It's there's times where I wish I can kind of go back to that, because back then you had like no real responsibilities. You just showed up to the rink and had fun with it. So that's what I would say is the best advice I could give.
Now, do you have any shout-outs you'd like to give to your teammates, fans, family members, friends before we let you go? I know we kind of shouted some of your teammates out, but if there's anyone that you forgot to mention, feel free to shout them out now.
Yeah, I mean, if I would love to shout out every single coach and teammate that I've played with, because they've been great. Mom and dad have been obviously my number one supporters, and people that have they've done crazy amount of stuff for me that I can never repay them for. So love them to death. My brother, obviously, being older than me, beat me up way too many times when I was younger. So toughened me up a little bit. So I appreciate that. But other than that, I mean, I wish I could just shout out everyone, but don't have enough time for that. But
Well, I want to just say thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Jake. I really appreciate you taking time in your day and coming on. It means a lot to me. Good luck for the rest of your upcoming season, and I look forward to watching you guys play, hopefully in person sometime soon.
For sure. Really appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Now, one question.